Anyway, I'm being
forced against my will
to talk about why Japan is a great place and everything,
and I mean everything,
about it. First off, it's located all the way in Asia, and it isn't actually bordered by any other country. It's just off, floating in the ocean. They actually made it illegal to come to it for a while ago, which is a bit weird and I guess cool at the same time. Want to know the capital of Japan and some pretty cool cities too?
No.
Too bad. The capital of Japan is Tokyo, which is actually, and I quote from Mrs. the biggest city in the world. And speaking of big, the population is pretty big, being 125,507,472 people. And because I can't make it sound good in the script, the two major cities are Osaka and Nagoya. Something else about some population numbers is, for the top population in the world, Japan ranks 11th, and the total land area is 145,947 square miles, and they rank 6th out of the entire world for land area. And lastly, the most commonly spoken language in Japan is, Japanese. Another thing I need to talk about is the government type, head of state, head of government, and the head of government's term length. First off, the government types. Japan is a democracy as well as a monarchy. Now, the next two are, head of state, head of government, and head of government term length. And let's also fit voting age in there. And so first off, the head of state is Emperor Naruhito, I think. The head of government is Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, and the term length is 4 years, and there is voting, and the voting age to do so is 18 years old.
Lightning round.
Next up is the economy type, currency, the GDP per capita, and the unemployment rate. Economy type, market/capitalist. GDP is 48,979, and it's good because what it needs to be good is 30,000, and it's just below 50,000. And lastly, the unemployment rate is 3.8%. Now I need to talk about school things. First up is the school life expectancy, which is 15 years. That's pretty good, seeing as how you just need 12 years, K through 12, to be good in education. And Japan is 15 years of education. So that's around an extra 3 years. And something else is the life expectancy, and if it's good or not. The life expectancy is 84.65 years, and that's good because the average life expectancy is around 77 years, and Japan is 84.65 years, which is more than 77, obviously. Next thing on my list is infant mortality rate, if it's good or not, yes again, and if Japan's a high or low standard country. Now, the infant mortality rate is 1.92 deaths per every 1,000 children born. The infant mortality rate is good because in high standard countries, it's 6 deaths per every 1,000 children, and yes, 1.92 is less than 6, which is good, less deaths. And lastly, it's a high standard of living country because all of the rates are higher than the average, or what it needs to be good. Now, for history things, Japan became an official country all the way back in 600 BC, so yeah, it's old. Next is two important events. One thing that happened was the Liberal Democratic Party dominance, and the other is 3-11 triple. And lastly, finishing off the history section, one conflict that Japan participated in World War II, which is super obvious because they literally bombed us, with that event being Pearl Harbor. In the final part being geography and culture, I'll need to talk about the climate, specific landforms, the main religion, a must-see location, and 3 interesting facts. So, climate. In the north, the winters are really cold, with the coldest climate ever being recorded all the way back in 1902, the temperature being negative 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the next thing I need to talk about is specific landforms, those being Mount Fuji, and some main islands being the Honshu Island, Hokkaido Island, Kyushu Island, and the Shikoku Island. And with Mount Fuji on the list, that is the must-see location of its tallness and popularity. And some interesting facts are, people used to jump off a temple named Kayumizu Dera Temple, hoping to receive a wish for leaving their lives in the hands of a person. I forgot the name. Next is people wearing things called wafuku on special occasions, and lastly, the main religions practiced in Buddhism and Shinto.
Is that it? Is that all of them?